Hello everyone, and welcome to the next video. Now, I'm really excited to give you all this information today because this is more so about hello my entrepreneurial people. This is Jerry Tolliver, and welcome to the next lesson. Now, this lesson is a little different than the other lessons that we have done. This is not much about time management, but this is more so about your personality and how your personality determines whether you survive or you thrive in business. So I want to touch on a key fundamental fact that we all know about our personality type so that you can position yourself to be very successful just based on how you interact with other people. So let's go ahead and actually get it started. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to break down your personality into three type of categories. You're either an introvert, you're either an extrovert, or you're an ambivert. Now, a lot of people have never heard of an ambivert, but an ambivert is pretty much in the middle, right? It's in the middle of the spectrum between the introvert and an extrovert. But if how your brain operates, how it reacts to outside interactions and influence will determine what type of person you are. So are you an introvert? Are you an ambivert, or are you an extrovert? Now, an introvert is someone that, let's talk about it. An introvert is someone that is a personality trait that's characterized by a focus on internal feelings rather than on external sources of stimulation. So I want you to ask yourself, do you feel drained by large crowds? Do you enjoy solitude or being by yourself? Or are you often described as shy? If you are, then in most cases you may just be an introvert. If you're an introvert, that's not a bad thing, actually. Introverts are more so into self, right? They like to re-energize. They like to disconnect. Those are what introverts mostly do. They get very overwhelmed very fast with large crowds and being around a lot of people, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially in business. So it's really about balancing what works for you and positioning yourself. So we're going to talk about how to position yourself as an introvert to be successful in your business and in certain situations and scenarios. The second thing we're going to talk about is the extrovert. Now, extrovert, a lot of people, we all know a lot of extroverts, right? It's a personality trait characterized by a focus on external sources of stimulation. So extroverts ask themselves, do you enjoy large crowds? Do you enjoy being the center of attention? Do you enjoy group work? Most of the time, extroverts, they do love large crowds. They love external stimulation. That's what they enjoy. That's what gets them going. That's what gets their ideas flowing. That's what motivates them, right? Is external stimulation. Now, some people have a balance between being an extrovert and an introvert. Now, these people are usually called an ambivert, a person whose personality has a balance of extrovert and introvert. So they typically slide up and down the spectrum depending on the situation, of course, the context and the people around them, but they're able to adapt very quickly depending on where they are, what circumstances they are in, and the people that are around them. So ambiverts, what I want you to ask yourself is, do certain situations make you feel outgoing while others make you feel quiet? If so, then that means that you could definitely be an ambivert. Now, a fun fact about ambiverts is that ambiverts make more money than extroverts, and they make more money than introverts. Most people think that extroverts make the most money, that they're the best in sales, but that's not really the case. Most of the time, people that are really good in sales understand other people, because other people they're the ones that's pulling out their checkbook and giving you the money, right? So you have to understand people and how they operate. People like to be listened to. Ambiverts are very good at listening to people. They have a very good balance between listening and talking. They know what's a good situation and what's not a good situation in order to give their opinion. They just know how to balance between the two very effectively. So they have a better opportunity to connect with different personality types so that they'll be able to excel in different areas in their life. A lot of the times, what I have found is that people get a little overwhelmed when they talk to extroverts because extroverts get very excited. They talk quite a bit and they don't always listen as much as they should when it comes to, of course, prospecting and putting new clients in their database or putting new names in their database. In order to do that, you have to find out what makes other people tick. And ambiverts just so happen to be very good at that. So let's talk about nourishing locations, things that actually bring out the best in you, right? Because certain situations, certain atmospheres, certain scenarios bring out the best in us, and they also bring out the worst in us. So what situations bring out the best in you? What do you like to do? Do you like to hang out with friends? Do you like to be by yourself? Do you like to hang out in bars? Do you like to go to conferences? Do you like to go to networking events? What do you like to do? Are there places that you dread going? Are there places that you absolutely do not like going because it drains you internally and emotionally, mentally, physically? If it does, then those are places that you need to avoid. Are there places that make you feel comfortable, absolutely comfortable inside and out? What are those places? And think about those locations because those are your nourishing locations, the places that bring out the best in you, the places that you feel the most comfortable. Those are your nourishing locations. So let's talk about the ambivert advantage, right? I touch on this a little bit, but ambiverts are really, really good at sales. They're really good salespeople. They're able to adapt faster in unfamiliar situations because they're able to scan the area to find out what's really going on, who's in the house, who should I talk to, who should I not talk to. Who should I surround myself with people because they have more of a stable personality because they can adapt between being quiet and being not so quiet. So they have a really good balance between the two, and they're highly intuitive and they're very self-aware. Introverts are they're very aware of self because they spend so much time feeding their self and re-energizing themselves and disconnecting from other people. Ambiverts also have the advantage, so they can do that as well. Extroverts not so much because they get a kick out of external circumstances and situations and stimulation. That's what gets them going. But an ambivert has a really good balance between the two. So ask yourself, what are you? Are you an ambivert? Are you an extrovert? Or are you an introvert? And depending on what you are will determine what locations will be nourishing for you. So we're actually going to go through an exercise together, guys, so that you can determine what situations you should be putting yourself in so that you can be your best self. Because when you're your best self, then you can perform better, you can connect with better people, you can flourish better, you can perform better. So we're going to go through an exercise together so that you can know where you can thrive or where you can survive.